Hello. Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi, Jai Savidhan, Jai Bharat. Today is Sunday, and as all of you know, every Sunday we are organizing this session, especially in English and rest of the day in Hindi, considering the NRI viewers of our society as well as the southern part of our country who are more familiar with the English language. So every Sunday we are organizing this session in English language, and we are discussing various topics that are very relevant to the nation and as well as our society. The Mulnivasi Bojan society, who comprises of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, other backward classes, and minorities. So, specifically with the current scenario and what is going on in the field in the media, that topics we are discussing. And today also a very important topic we are going to discuss, and that topic is hero worship is disastrous to both hero and the worshippers. So this is the topic that we are going to discuss. And today we had with us Mulnivasi Ashok Kumar Bhoola sir, who is a social activist and he is residing in the Atlanta, USA, and he is going to deliver his views on this particular topic. So, as you know, specifically hero worship or the admiration and veneration of heroic figures is a common and long-standing aspect of human culture and history. And while it may not be a fundamental trait shared by all humans, but it has been a very significant and prevalent phenomena in various societies. Even Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, he warned while speaking on politics that in politics, hero worship is the path to degradation and eventual dictatorship. Dr. Ambedkar emphasized that this caution is far more necessary in a case like a country of India, because in India, bhakti or what may be called a path of devotion or hero worship plays a very important part in politics and unequal in magnitude by the part it plays in politics of any other country than India. So this is the topic that we are going to discuss. Hero worship is disastrous to both hero and the worshipper. And today, let me welcome our guest speaker who is going to deliver his views on this particular topic. Today we had Mulnivasi Ashok Kumar Bhoola sir. Sir, welcome to MNT News Network. Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi, Jai Savidhan, Jai Bharat.
Jai Bhim Ashish ji. Thank you for inviting me on this show. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time. And today we are going to discuss about hero worship. So, hero worship, would like to know initially how do you see what does this hero worshipping means, and how do you see this hero worshipping? Is it fantasizing good or bad? How do you feel? What do you feel, sir?
Yeah, so giving more than what is needed in the form of respect or devotion or reverence or admiration, um, to the extent of losing the very purpose of why they are respecting, giving the respect and showing the admiration, right? So this unlimited amount of admiration shown towards any particular person. It is treating that person as a hero, and whatever he does is super fantastic, and having that kind of view is generally considered as hero worship, because the people who the in a like in a large numbers treats a particular person as a hero, and expecting him to deliver goods or expecting him to behave in a certain way or talk in a certain way, that he can do lots of miracles and all that. So those kind of seeing that person as a savior, so this unlimited kind of expectations on that person in the form, showing in the form of admiration, is generally we consider as the hero worship that we usually see in movies, but in reality also in the social movement and the social front. So we see this kind of thing going on everywhere in every sector, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, as far as this hero worship or concentrating on some particular person, whether it is a family, whether it is a society, or whether is even a nation. And as far as India is concerned, India is a democratic nation, democratic country. So, how do you see the hero worship in the daily aspect of even in our personal family life? Even in our society or where we are working as an employer with any employer or any employment basis. So how do you see this hero worship prevailing in the society, in the family or in the society or even in the political movements? So how do you see these things within a daily life?
Yeah, there are two things here. So, seeing a particular person um, based out of his achievements, or based out of his views, or based out of his work that is he is doing, or the sacrifices he is doing, and based out of all those, if you are showing some sort of respect to that person, that is one thing. So, but at the same time, if it crosses its limit to the extent of showing the unlimited prizes, so showering unlimited prizes, or unlimited bhakti kind of tradition, whatever people usually follow, we see this behavior in every family. So in the patriarchal society, whatever the male head of the family, whatever he says, that's the law of the family. And then in the village level also, we see the same kind. There will be a sarpanch or maybe some feudal caste person. So whatever he says, everybody listen to him and praises him and follows him and treats him as a god. And even in politics, we see in any there are many leaders uh, who hypnotize the people with their speeches, and even their good work, whatever they do. And any factor can be anything, but people, they go crazy, kind of showing love and respect to that person to the extent of losing their own thinking, their own worth, and their self individuality, that we see in every day, every life, every sector actually. But to some extent, as a form of showing respect is okay, but once it crosses its limit, that actually it's not good for anyone, even to the person who is worshiping, or who is the person whom they're worshiping. Yeah, but we see it rampant everywhere, in every sector, every day today. Yeah,
Right, sir. Rightly pointed out. It prevails in each and everywhere, basically, whether it is a family, whether it is
correct.
society, or whether it is
Yeah,
politics or nation. So,
yeah.
how do you see the impact of such type of dependency on one person, or dependency on a person who may not be of that much values or that much expected things from him? So, if it is not thing, but if the overall dependency is there on one person, whether it is a family, whether it is a society, or whether it is a nation, how do you see its impact? How it can impact in general?
So this hero worship is directly impacts the individual's freedom of choice and thinking, right? So freedom of speech and thinking. So once he sees a particular person as a savior, and that he can do anything, or he is going to do, and waiting for him to really make his dreams realized and all that. So these people continuously depending on that person to deliver, in one way, it's a modern kind of slavery, right? So in the ancient days, when we used to see when the kings were ruling the kingdoms, we used to see that people, they hope that king will deliver something good for them, and then they wait and wait and wait, and until then they keep on praising him and all that. So similar kind of expectations from the people, it's one way of making the people incapable, and continuously depend on them, and making completely worthless. And so these are all, people will degrade their life to the extent of becoming a slave. And he cannot do anything, he will not do anything, he is not going to protect himself, or work for himself, or think about himself, or his family, or his country, or community. So all these will go, this kind of thinking will go with that kind of a hero worship. And this continuous dependency on people to come and liberate them, they will make it, in fact, actually makes them perpetual slaves. In the modern days, the people, the countries who fought for democracies and the freedom, and the slavery was banned, and caste is also constitutionally banned, but there are all sorts of slaveries in many countries, they are all banned. But still, these kind of modern day hero worshipping is in fact indirectly taking them back to the olden days where they don't have any freedom of choice to choose, or believing in themselves as that people having some worth, right? So this continuous dependency on others, treating them as heroes, in fact it hurts very bad the person who is giving that unlimited reverence to that person. Yeah, it's not at all good.
Correct, correct. And even if means dependability is there, then the creation of leaderships or creation of new things or non-dependability, if that particular person is not there at particular place, then if the successors or if the another person is not there to take care of their families or of their societies immediately, then that creates a vacuum, a very big vacuum in
Exactly.
day-to-day life. So
Correct.
how do you see this? Basically, even in our forefathers, if we see Buddha's example, of Baba Sahab's example, or Periyarji's example, everybody opposed hero worship. They, because that kills your inner thinking or your skill or your interpretative mind interpretations. Basically, what is right and what is wrong. Because if you are hero dependent on one person, and if you are just following any person, then your all eyes or your all thinkings is closed. So in that particular aspects, how do you see it has impacted in day-to-day life as well as the society? How society is basically due to, because most of the, even in political scenarios, if we see it is going like hero worship, means heroes are there, and a particular creation of new and new leadership is not taking place, or is not, we cannot see in society. So that is again creating a disaster, or we are not going toward the development path. So how do you see this particular scenario with respect to our forefathers sayings, or with our forefathers opposed to hero worship?
Yeah, so say like yeah, any social movement. I mean, there are people who are capable of leading and then capable of marching them into the next phase of their movement for whatever they are fighting for, right? So people having special abilities to leading the people, right? So usually we if leadership is, if it is treated as a responsibility, that is okay, but to the extent of um, continuously depending on one person, it only as long as the person is sincere towards the cause of the organization or the mission of the organization, then the that organization will flourish. That's fine. So because he's capable, he's sincere also. But the people, we cannot continue. I mean, we cannot assume that they will stay sincere for forever, right? Since he is still at the end, it's a trait, and several factors may make him come out of his path and may exploit the very people who they are leading, right? So depending on one person or two persons, it hinges complete the future of the organization or the movement completely hinges on that one person. So there should always be checks and balances. There should always be second generation of leadership ready to lead the organization and movement in the absence of those the current leaders who are leading. So this mechanism is not created within those movements and organizations. Those organizations, the future can be jeopardized by the fact that those persons will forever won't be there. So it will create a vacuum in case the person dies all of a sudden for some reason, right? Or if the person for selfish reasons sold himself out to um, somebody else and wants the entire organization to rally behind him, all these people will also out of confusion or out of this one, they also get sold in that process. So the very mission for which the organization and the movement is started, it can be go compromised if we continuously depend on one two individuals in that organization. So there, this will the completely, I mean, those organizations will not flourish until the objective which for which they are is realized and for which they are working, right? So to have a sustained long-term movement to flourish until the objectives are realized. We need to have a generational leadership prepared, made ready, and then who are capable and who are sincere also, right? So Dr. Ambedkar also, he clearly quotes some of these things in the Gandhi Renade Jinnah, right? So in the volume 1, if you see here, so it's not enough that people are sincere. It's not enough that people are intellect. So it should always be a combination of these two only can make the people great. So if you treat a leader as a great, uh, if he is sincere and intellect, that's fine. He can lead us to lead us in the right path. But Baba Sahib also went ahead and said that these two may or may not be enough. The leaders should also have a vision, and they also should have a courage, and they also should act as a scourge and scavenger of the society, right? So whenever there is something going on, question, and then and then see that whatever bad is going on, that is cleansed up. So if the leaders go corrupt and insincere, so these things we may not be able to see. So that is why, so people working in organizations, they also always have to make the organization rely on multiple people, multiple leadership. Its leadership development should be a continuous process of several generations. So we should not make them single pole organizations. They may not. They are very much anti thesis to the democratic principles of the society for which all our forefathers have fought for. So any social movement, we see practically also, we are seeing in day-to-day life, many of the SC/ST BC organizations are like single pole organizations. They're existing because of one particular person who is leading and has so much of capability and talent, right? But at the same time, that one person leads forever that organization, it may corrupt the very ideals for which the organization is working for. So there needs to have the checks and balances to have the long-term movement going on in the society. We always need to have generational leadership, second generation, third generation leadership. We need to continuously prepare who can readily replace the leaders when they are not going corrupt or going, they're completely missing in the action, or in those unavoidable situations, they can take over the leadership and continue the movement and the organization. Yeah.
Right, sir. So, as we talked about the social and organizational aspect of hero worship and the continuation or the generation of new leaders and the institutionalization of the society, the organizations specifically will have a great impact and continuity of generations with new leaderships, and there will be no lacuna in the leadership. Now, as far as this India as a democratic country is considered, and as a democratic country, hero worship to that extent doesn't have any place because it is a rule of people, by the people, and for the people. So, as far as the today's scenario is considered, or today's overall whatever media is propagating, or whatever situations are developed politically in India, specifically for the last 10, 15 years. And as far as the current things are going on in the media as well as in the political area of India. So, how do you see in a democratic country where does this hero worship falls, or how you analyze the current scenario as far as the hero worship and the democracy is considered?
Yeah, so what there is no question that things going in a normal, healthy way in our largest democracy of world, right? So the current politics are the clear reflection that there is the politics are run by these heroes, the very heroes who are made by the worshippers, the drum boys. Dr. Babsab calls them as drum boys, right? So the media and then the few individuals together, the sponsors, they create leaders, and then they make them heroes, and then glorify whatever they do, and that's how they create a scene like they're doing a lot of good, even though they're not doing anything. And So those kind of heroes are now ruling the country. And if you see the way the current regime in India, the Brahminical government, it is taking away the complete the achievements of the country so far done. So they are completely polarized community, the country now, and there is no democracy. That is, we can call them confidently, and there is a lot of worship going on, and Baba Sahib also makes them right. So the media also playing a lot of role in that process of creating these gods and glorifying these political gods. Baba Sahib clearly calls them media. Makes the half the population as fools and rest of the half as hypocrites. So if you see the glorifying one individual as the liberator, even though there are hundreds of things that he is not doing or doing very bad, that's a clear indication that the determination to keep this hero worship going on and achieve the objectives they're looking for. So there's a competition, right? So the historical competition that to maintain the hegemony over the people of the people, right? So it acts like an opium to the people. So like it gives the kick to them to control the masses and mesmerize them, hypnotize them, and take them into control. That to the standards of that they, even though they do a lot of damage to them, the people won't be able to sense anything. So that's how they're making them senseless also. So nowadays the BJP government or the whatever the current ruling government is doing, we can have clear indications, many of them, that there are a lot of hero worship is going on. And in politics, Baba Sahib Ambedkar already told that in politics, this kind of hero worship and bhakti definitely will lead to the eventual dictatorship. So that is what we can see, confidently call this as it's not a democratic government, that is, even though elected by the people, but it's the way the government is ruling the country and the people. You can call it clearly as a kind of sort of dictatorship, because whenever they negate in a democracy, we can freely question the government, right? So, and any individual or media should question the government for any wrong deeds they're doing, and if anything that is expected of them is not delivered. But if there is a question coming to the government, and now the people are that banned from the media, and immediately a lot of trolls happening, and then people are even the media, and then a lot of attacks are also happening on the people, and then a lot of sedition cases are also being booked on the people who are talking and questioning the government. And so this sort of a dangerous development is going on, and this in fact is a direct reflection of society, right? So the way the people are getting educated, so it shows the standards of the people's education and understanding of the politics and the democracy. So it is high time that people should be taught about these democratic principles and the constitution principles, and how the government should rule, and who is the leader, and what we can expect and what we can do in a democratic country. So these are the fundamental things that people are forgetting, and it is high time that an alternative media should definitely should work towards this, realizing the people what dangerous game they are being played into, especially in the current socio-political scenario. So even though there are a lot of things are going on, people are not able to question, because a lot of hero worship is going on. So this is completely disastrous. And then whatever Baba Sahib Jyotirao Phule and Baba Sahib Ambedkar, they all fought for, and whatever rights we could achieve, and what they expected of the people who utilized these rights, all the educated class. So this educated class, who are the results of this Baba Sahib and Phule struggles, they should understand this this dangerous trend of building organizations that are single pole and doing all the kind of hero worship. When we cleanse this process within the social movements that we are doing, definitely this will reflect in the future in the entire nation and the politics. So until then, we fall prey to our own misdeeds that we are doing in running the organizations and movement. Many social movement, if you see, there are many things going on. They are doing good things, but at the same time, they are all single pole organizations, and it's dangerous for them. And people see that, okay, one man can show and the entire show, play in the entire show, and become a hero, and then why not in politics, right? So the masses will automatically take the same trend, and if somebody is highlighted as glorified as a hero, they will follow him. That's what the Modi government is. That's how they're getting the ratification of the people. They are, many people fallen in trap into the game they're playing, and giving unlimited kind of bhakti in politics is going on, and some sort of dictatorship we are already seeing that there are a lot of signs it is clearly giving, and which is not healthy for a democracy like us. And people and organizations and the media, they all should think about this and correct themselves. Otherwise, it's going to demolish the very structure of the democracy that we have built so far.
Right, sir. Sir, particularly, you have any ideas, or you think that though these particular things are going on in the media, but definitely still the Indian citizens or the common man or common people still have, or they can do a lot, because ultimately in a democratic country, it is what the voting rights it matters, and it is the 85 to 90% of the people who are there are the sufferers of this entire things. So, how do you think? What do you think that this common man should do, or the intellectual class specifically of this society can guide the common mass in the right perspective, so that the development of their personal family, development of the society, and development of the nation will get a proper shape? Any particular ideas?
Yeah. As we all know, the educated class, intellectual class, is the cream of our society, right? They are the beneficiaries of the movement, and they are the think tank of the oppressed society. So these educated class, if they behave the same way that our enemy is expecting, say like these Bahujans or whatever SC, OBC minorities we are calling us. So these Bahujan some community, the being ruled by the Brahminical leadership, right? So the intellectuals from the is very Bahujan community, if they don't realize that they need to work for a long-term goal of achieving the dreams of this annihilation of caste, or establishing a pure democratic country where every individual gets their share in this development, right? So if the educated class do not realize their responsibility and build organizations and the movement which are not following any of these hero worship principles or undemocratic principles, and give guidance to the masses, then only masses will be able to realize. So because the masses will try to imitate their actions and decisions based on how the intellectual class is guiding them, right? So if the intellectual class guides them, stands as role model, they will follow them. If they don't follow role model, they also follow the same whatever they are doing. So if all our FC during the Baba Sahib time, and hardly a few individuals are there with him to help in the mission, right, that he was working on. But today, if you see, millions of educated class are there, millions, not even thousands. So millions of educated class emerged from this very society, the CST BC minority society, after the implementation of the constitution since 1950, right? So this very educated class, they should guide the rest of the CSTs, some masses in a proper way, and realizing what is going on in the current scenario, right? So there are several organizations and several leaders, they are interpreting what is going on in their own way, and there we see a lot of fragmented efforts we are seeing every day. But this Brahmanism or whatever Baba Sahib called this as enemy, So this is prevalent throughout India, and there should always be a nationwide movement, and that movement should be built on the democratic principles, and who create multiple leaderships, and who are ready to guide the masses, and in a proper way, and not for doing any charity. We see in many parts of even in USA, we see many organizations, they do a lot of charity. Charity is also good, but at the same time, because it can change the lives of a few individuals, definitely, but they limit they end their work there itself, and do not participate in the social revolution, right? Because one reason is that they don't see any organization as a true organization that is running really uh, um, standing for the ideals of Baba Sahib and Phule. But at the same time, they themselves can also build a similar organization, whatever they're thinking. But in that process, we are ending up with hundreds of multiple SCS to BC organizations. Thousands of organizations are there, even in many overseas also. So yeah, this is the time that realizing what is happening in the society in the current socio-political scenario, there needs to be a strong organization which is purely built on the basis of ideals of Baba Sahib and Phule, but which are cadre based, and not on the leader based organization. Almost every political organization of SC, ST, BC which are currently running in the country, they're all single man show, single person show. So this is the very reason that is making the Brahminical forces as to continue to reign the country, right? So to stop them, or to build a society that is dreamed by our forefathers, we need to build an organization that takes this caravan ahead. But that organization should be not be built on the built on by the individual only, for the individuals. It is organizations should work to create the multiple generational leadership, that which we don't see usually in the current scenario. One or two persons, then everybody is a follower. So this should stop. That's how the organization should be built, by the intellectuals and the educated class from this CSTBC Samaj.
Right, sir. It was a very nice conversation with you on this particular topic of hero worship, and you had elaborated more right from its definitions to the impact, overall impact, and you had rightly guided our society what they should do, and how everything is not the end of the thing, but actually things can get converted, because ultimately democracy matters, and in democratic country the vote of people or the people's thinking how they should be ruled, that matters. So definitely, a lot of things can be done. It's a message to the intellectual class. It's a message to the society that if they want, they can do it. So definitely, it
Yeah,
was a wonderful talk with you. And on behalf of MNT News Network, I would like to thank you for joining us today and giving your valuable time. And hope that in future also we would like to invite you, and would like to hear from you your views on different topics. And I hope that you will again rejoin us.
sure. Yeah. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you for inviting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining
Yeah.
today. And definitely we will meet sometime in coming future also. Thank you very much, sir. Jai
Sure.
Bhim, Jai
Yeah.
Modi,
Thank
Jai
you.
Sri.
Thank you, Jai Bhim. Yeah. Thank you, Jai Bhim.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So it was Mulnivasi Ashok Bhoola sir who had joined us today in today's this particular topic of hero worship, and he had elaborated more on the hero worship and its impact, and how what is there with society. Still, how they can, if they think, then definitely they can change the entire scenario, and it's not like that everything is changed. So this important video will be there in the link at the Facebook page and YouTube page of MNT News Network. You all are requested to spare some time in watching this video, and also share and like this video within your social network, so that this important information is passed on to each and everybody in the society. Thank you very much for joining today, and tomorrow we will meet at 8:30 p.m. and we will have one important discussion, and tomorrow in Hindi we will be able to hear Dr. Vijay Kumar Teshan sir on the topic डॉक्टर बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर द्वारा दिलाई गई 22 प्रतिज्ञाओं का मूल्यवासियों के लिए महत्व. So what are the importance of this 22 vows that has been given by Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar in 1956. So be there at 8:30 p.m. and be there at every day at 8:30 p.m. to watch MNT News Network. Thank you very much for joining, and see you tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi, Jai Savidhan, Jai Bharat.